Hey everyone, welcome to the RotoGrinders Morning Grind Podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It's Wednesday, it's June 7th, it's 2023. We have 10 baseball games here on today's podcast. To break this one down, I got my buddy TJ, Mr. Spidey himself. TJ, what's happening, my friend?
Doing pretty well. Getting a little tired. I'm ongoing hour 5 straight of being on air. I was on Grinders Live today with Dean, and then Roth wasn't feeling too well, so did double duty for crunch time. Had a Agents of Fandom meeting, a Ticket to Reality podcast, and now here we are. So I'm ready to dive into tomorrow's baseball slate.
Sounds like fun. I am very interested to dive into this slate because pitching was, I mean, it was just bad. Paxton pitched well. He came out okay. Gonsolin had a really bad first inning. Wish he could have that first inning back. And Keller just wasn't here, I guess. It was something. So I have one decent team going that's a giant stack where if they did something and Gilbert pitched well, I could have a decent day. But Keller was on two of my three teams. He was my highest owned pitcher, him and Paxton. So that kind of stunk. But yeah, ready to move on. And get started. What's up, YouTube? Hope everyone's having a fantastic Tuesday night. I'm sure pitching, bit a lot of people tonight. So let's get going on the next slate. That's what we do when
It doesn't get any easier for Wednesday.
No, it doesn't. I mean, that's what happens. That's what's fun about DFS, right? You have a bad slate, you can move right on to the next one. White Sox and Yankees. 9 total in this game. Yankees 134 favorite. We got Lynn going up against Randy Vasquez. Any interest here in Lance Lynn against the Yankees?
I mean, if I'm MMEing, I'll probably still have Lance Lynn in my pool. No Aaron Judge. He got put on the IL with a toe injury, and so that definitely makes Lynn more interesting outside of Judge. They'd finally just gotten healthy. But Judge obviously not being there is a huge downgrade. So I think I'll have a little bit of interest just because 8,700 without any pitch count worries it's pretty nice, but still not, I don't think, at the top of my list.
Yeah, I mean, Lance Lynn, a guy that still a lead against righties, struggles with lefties. So overall, pretty solid lineup here for him going up against the Yankees. You got Rizzo, you got Willie Calhoun. Jake Bauer is probably in the lineup here. Lance Lynn has just been so extremely hit or miss this year. So I think if you wanted to take some tournament shots on him, I don't know if I necessarily talk you off of it on this slate because of the options that we have, but I'm not sitting here trying to endorse Lance Lynn either. So I'm just saying the matchup, he should get 6 righties here. So the matchup should be pretty solid. On the other side of this game, we got Randy Vasquez made his first start of the season. Last time out, 4 2/3, 6 strikeouts, 84 pitches. I guess that was like he got sent back down, and now he's getting called back up for this one. It's so hard to keep track of that stuff, but he's 4K going up against the White Sox. Any interest here?
Whether I have one lineup or 150 lineups, I will have 100% Vasquez.
Okay.
This pitching slate sucks. Every single good pitcher is in a terrible spot. I don't want to play a 10K Corbin Burns against Baltimore. I don't want to play a 10K Logan Webb in Coors. I don't want to play a 10K Max Scherzer against Atlanta. I don't want to play Bassett against Houston, Morton against the Mets, Gray against St. Louis, Lynn against the Yankees, Bibby against Boston. I don't want to play any of these guys. I will because I have to, but I don't want to play any of them. So I'm going to play the 4K guy who's probably going to project the exact same as all the 7 and 8K guys in one of the very best matchups on the slate. I'm going to play him in every single lineup.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd go that extreme, but I hear why you're doing it. For sure. Like you just look at overall here, he is a average pitcher in the minors. So I mean, that's just the concern for me is he's not like this, elite arm by any means. So I think that's my concern. His strikeout rate is okay. He ran on the good side of strikeouts his first time out a couple weeks ago against the Padres. So I get why you're doing it price wise. Makes a ton of sense that way, but it's not like he's like this huge, like big time prospect. So just saying.
4K though.
Oh, I know.
I'd
4K.
play you at 4K.
I mean, I might be better than this guy. I mean, the White Sox lineup pretty bad. There's not a ton of power in this lineup right now. A lot of strikeouts. What are your thoughts on the White Sox bats?
I mean, I'm probably not going to play them because I'll have this guy in 100 lineups. But say I end up doing something where it's like I have him in about 75%, then yes, I will definitely have a couple White Sox stacks in the lineups that I don't have him in. But for me personally, because of if I do end up playing 100%, which I think I'm going to, I won't have any.
I will say this. If you're going to MME 150 teams and you are going to play him 100%, better fire up a White Sox stack in like the $50 single entry or something. I mean, build yourself a little bit of a hedge team there, just in case. But yeah, I think like if I'm playing the White Sox, I'm just stacking, hoping that like he isn't this end all pitcher, especially if they're like if he's gonna be chalky here because of the price. I have even more interest in this. So I think that it's a tough spot for the White Sox because they're just not great. The Yankees bullpen's good. Yankees bats, Lance Lynn's so good against righties. I think again, like the pricing on the Yankees make it tough for me to have a ton of interest here. Any interest here in the Yankees bats?
So Rizzo has been way too cheap lately, but he's gotten a $900 price increase. I still think he makes for a very strong one-off, but I don't really want to stack his team.
Yeah, I don't think I want to stack it either. So, all right, moving on. Arizona at Washington. We're gonna like a lot of bats today. Just get on this trend. There's gonna be a trend today. We're gonna like a lot of bats today. 9 total in this one. Diamondbacks a 126 favorite. Davies against Corbin. Any interest here in Zach Davies against Washington?
I don't think so. Even on a slate where we're hurting for pitching a little bit, I don't think I can go with Davies.
Yeah, low strikeouts. A team that doesn't strike out a lot anyway. So you get a low strikeout pitcher against a low strikeout team. I think Davies could potentially get there if his BABIP is really favorable for him, because I think there's just going to be a lot of ground balls hit in this game. But overall, not a ton of interest in Davies. He's not a big strikeout guy. Patrick Corbin, 7,200. On the other side of this game, any interest in Corbin here?
Corbin has been sneaky good this year. Like we kind of all expected him to be terrible like he has been in the past couple of years, but he actually hasn't been that bad. But I'm still not going to play him against a low strikeout team like Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, he's not my favorite by any means. So I'm more likely to take bats against Corbin than I am than play him. And like Arizona is a team that they've been very good against left-handed pitching this season. So bats here for Arizona. What are your thoughts on the Diamondbacks?
I don't know how much I love the full stack. It'll be interesting to see the lineup specifically that comes out, but I do like Arizona. I like Marte a decent amount. Perdomo and Moreno at the catcher position below 3K are all fine and dandy, but Christian Walker at 3,900 is going to be one of the best point per dollar plays on the slate.
Yeah. I mean, Walker definitely 396 ISO against left-handed pitching this season. He's at the top of the list. He's a huge fly ball guy. So a ton of interest in Walker. I mean, guessing between Longoria and Rivera is always fun. I never seem to guess right. Kettle Marte is someone that has power from the right side of the plate as well. So I think this is more of like a mini stack. If you're stacking maybe like a chalky offense and want a mini stack here. The Washington side of this game, any interest in the Washington bats going up against Zach Davies?
Just because Davies sucks, I am a little bit interested in like an MME setting. They'd be in my pool. Having said that, this isn't a team that I'd target. Maybe even like a 20 entry max. I probably wouldn't be getting to them very much. Like I said, I'm going to be playing the 4K Vasquez in the majority of my lineup, so I'm probably going to be sticking with the teams that are more expensive in this one.
All right. Moving on, we got Houston at Toronto. 9.5 total in this game. The Blue Jays are 156 favorite. We got Ronald Blanco going up against Chris Bassett. Any interest here in Blanco?
No. Toronto is good, and I know nothing about Blanco. And there's a dude 1,200 cheaper than him that is not playing Toronto. So no Blanco for me.
Sorry, yawning. Anybody that's watching YouTube can see me yawn. Yes, my eyes are watering. Yes, I'm tired. I don't know what sleep is. Big strikeout stuff in AAA this season in only 2 starts though. So I mean the numbers are a little skewed. He only had one. I think he only threw 1 outing or 2 outings last year in the majors. But last season in AAA, he showed big strikeout stuff. 18% swinging strike rate. He has big strikeout stuff. His walks are the problem. That's going to be the thing that's going to, kind of hinder him here. 5,200, I think, like if you're just punting and you want to take a shot here, I get it. I don't know how deep he'll go into the game. He did throw 94 pitches on the first, so about 6 days ago. Maybe a large field tournament play as a pivot. Bassett coming off of his best game, one of his best games. He had a really good game against Atlanta earlier this year too. Bassett's 9,500 going up against Houston. Any interest in him?
Yeah, I think so. Just like he's been pitching the ball really well, and for what it's worth, I didn't realize Blanco was actually such a strong minor league strikeout guy. So I'm not opposed to it. It's not like the Blue Jays are patient by any means. So hopefully the walks won't hurt him too badly. And so maybe I'll include Blanco in the pool as well. In terms of Bassett, as long as you get past Alvarez and Tucker, like you're probably pretty fine against this Houston team. They are not all that strong outside of those guys, and so that's kind of where I'm leaning here. Is like I will play him, but at that price against Houston, I don't love it.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the guys on the slate that has a little bit of upside. I mean, we don't have a ton of upside on the slate overall. So, I mean, yeah, you don't love the matchup, but yeah, I think we just saw Gausman just go out and absolutely dominate this matchup. So, I'm not saying that Bassett is as good as Gausman. It's not even really remotely that close, but I think Bassett has to be in the conversation today. His biggest problem is he struggles with lefties, Alvarez, Tucker, the lefties, but this is a team that's pretty right-handed heavy. So he benefits from them being a right-handed heavy team with only 2 lefties in the lineup. So I think Bassett, ceiling-wise, one of the better ceiling pitchers on the slate today. Let's talk bats. I mean, I just kind of said it. Like, he's been great against righties. He struggles with lefties. Yeah, Alvarez and Tucker would be the 2 guys I'm looking at here.
100%. Alvarez and Tucker would be the only 2 Houston players in my pool. I wouldn't be stacking this team today. Really, no matter how many lineups I was playing, I would just keep hammering Alvarez and Tucker as one-offs and then basically just ignore the rest of this team.
Toronto bats, I think they're worthy of a stack. Like, looking at the command issues here, they're not going to be my favorite stack today. We're going to have a lot of good spots to attack today. I don't mind it as a stack, but that's how I would approach them, especially at these prices.
Yep, I agree with you. I'll probably get to a decent amount of them just because salary is not going to be an issue with the pitching ways I'm looking to go today. But they're not going to be at the top of the list either.
I will note that Chapman's dealing with like a infected ingrown toenail. He was not in the lineup yesterday. We'll have to see if he's back in the lineup or not today. All right, Boston at Cleveland. We got Crawford and Bibby facing off against each other here. 8 total. The Guardians are 135 favorites. Any interest here in Cutter Crawford?
No, Cutter Crawford is definitely not going to make the cut for me against the team like Cleveland.
Yeah, I mean, overall, he is a guy that is likely not going to pitch too deep into this game. A few days ago, he threw 40 pitches. He's not going to pitch deep. So it's more, this is all setting up for a bullpen game here for Boston today. I don't think we see any of these guys go deep. Tanner Bibby, any interest in him going up against my Sox?
I don't really like targeting pitchers against the Red Sox, but on the pitching slate like today, I don't mind Bibby. I just don't really like any of the options up top. 8.5K, it's a decent price tag for somebody of his talent. So he's not at the top of my list, but he's in the pool.
Yeah, like Bieber yesterday, he had a really solid game against the Sox, but just not striking anybody out. And it's kind of their MO right now. They're not like getting crushed, but they're not really striking out. He has a 25% K rate on the season. He has a little bit of strikeout upside. And I think he's in your player pool if you're MMEing. I don't know if he makes the cut in like a 3-inch max type of build for me today. All right, we're going to some bats here. What do you like for the Red Sox?
Nothing really outside of Devers. Like, I think Devers is always a guy you can one off, but Bibby's one of the better pitchers on the slate, so I'm not really looking to target bats against him.
Yeah, I mean, Devers, I think, is always in play. Yoshida, Devers would be my favorite. Duran, his price is starting to get up there a little bit. It would be like more of a secondary or one-off type of thing here, but I'm not going out of my way to stack them on the slate. Cleveland side, anything that you're liking here against the bullpen?
I feel very similarly to Cleveland as I do about Boston, actually. Like Jose Ramirez at 5K is cheap enough. I'd play him on his own. Josh Naylor at 3.4K is, I think, a very interesting salary saver, as is Josh Bell at all the way down at 2.7. So don't have a ton of interest here in a full stack, but I think a mini stack or a couple one-offs is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, Cleveland's just they've been so bad that it's really hard to say, hey, let's stack this team against really any pitcher right now. They're just the whole lineup's kind of struggling. Ramirez, Naylor, maybe a little 2-man, and then throw in a third piece for cheap value. But yeah, not a team that like I'm kind of avoiding right now. We got Dodgers and Reds facing off against each other today. 11 total in this one. Dodgers a 172 favorite. Syndergaard and Williamson facing off against each other. Any interest here in Noah Syndergaard?
No, I don't.
Yeah, nope, no interest from me either. Especially in this ballpark. Listen, again, like I think the Reds lineup is kind of weak right now. But I will say, like, I talked about this on the podcast yesterday, and it happened, and it made me feel good. And I know they're listening. What's up, Cincinnati Reds team? Good job finally calling up one of your best hitters in your AAA organization. It took you too long. But yeah, Dela Cruz being up is huge for this team. A guy that has big power, hit fourth. Love that they were like, hey, we're going to call this guy up, and he's going to hit right up at the top of the order. So I think that was good to see if you're a Reds fan. And again, against Syndergaard, I actually have a ton of interest in the Reds today. Other side of this game, Williamson. I mean, this is a low strikeout guy, a guy that struggles with command, struggles with right-handed hitters. Dodgers are one of the top stacks on the slate. I'm not playing this guy today.
No, definitely not playing this guy. I'm with you on the Dodgers.
Let's talk about him. Obviously, Mookie Betts, Will Smith, JD Martinez continues to hit everything and anything right now. If we get Chris Taylor in there, he offers some value. Let's talk Dodgers here.
Yeah, I think this is my top stack on the slate. If not on the slate, definitely outside of Coors Field today. This is the team I'm going to be targeting the most. They're expensive, but I'm not going to have any issue getting to them with how I'm going cheap at pitching today. So Dodgers are, I think, my top stack on the board. Mookie Betts is probably my top individual play on the board today. Love Will Smith, love JD Martinez, and yeah, the Dodgers are going to be my number one team.
I like the Reds too. Noah Syndergaard is someone that offers some stolen base upside, and he's just not been good at all this year. So I think this is a great spot for Cincinnati. And yeah, De La Cruz, I love it. Love that he got called up. Big talent.
I had 60% De La Cruz on Tuesday night. It went pretty darn well. I don't know if I'll need quite that much since I'm going to be paying down a pitcher. Take a drink every time I say I'm paying down at pitcher today. I feel like I've said that for every single team we've described. So if you're playing that game, you're definitely having fun during the morning grind, whether you're listening live at night or having some mimosas early in the morning. Yeah, I don't mind Cincinnati either as an entirety. McLean, I think, makes for a very interesting play today. I wish he wasn't at the same position as De La Cruz, but I love both of them today.
Yeah, it's again, like stats wise, you're going to look at it and you're like, this team, but having Fraley back in the lineup is good. Having De La Cruz in there, I think, is huge for this team. I think he's going to be a guy that really kind of performs. We know that Senzel got put on the IL. That was the move. Like they called up De La Cruz because Senzel got sent to the IL. I think it might actually be an upgrade from Senzel. I think De La Cruz is a very, very talented prospect. And if you read our preseason article on guys that we had eyes on for Rookie of the Year, he was one of the guys for me. So any other thoughts on this one? High scoring game, a lot of runs.
High scoring game, a lot of runs, and I really like both sides.
Kick off the new year with new gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered from the sun to the slopes with premium Polaroid shades, customizable snow goggles, and much more. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair we've worn. Durable frames and extremely clear optics for outdoor adventures. That's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair. No questions asked. Wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after your purchase. With Shady Rays, you can look good and feel good. To date, they have donated over 20 million meals to fight hunger with Feeding America. If you don't love them, exchange them for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop with Shady Rays. Their team always has your back. Exclusively to our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the new year. Go to shadyrays.com and use code RotoGrinders for 50% off of 2 or more pairs of Polaroid sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 200,000 people. Really quick, before we move on to the next game, there was a question in YouTube chat. Barnes or Will Smith? I think it will be Will Smith. Barnes typically only catches Kershaw, so I don't think you'll get Barnes on today's slate. Mets and Braves. This game is currently at a 9 total. The Braves are a 126 favorite. We got Scherzer and Morton facing off against each other. We're starting to see Max Scherzer come into form. Any interest in Max going up against Atlanta?
I had to unmute myself because you muted me for the ad.
My bad. I forgot to unmute you.
You're good. Yeah, I guess. Like Atlanta still has some strikeouts. Max has looked a lot better lately. From a raw point standpoint, I think he has as high of upside as anybody else on the slate.
Yeah, I mean, we're struggling for pitchers, right? I mean, overall on the slate. So Atlanta's offense that you don't typically take pitchers against, but a guy that started kind of slow, they do strike out a bunch. So, I mean, it's probably not going to be clean, but I think the upside is worth, taking a few shots on them here because of the pitching that we have today. Charlie Morton on the other side of this game, the Mets lineup has really kind of been struggling here recently. They're really kind of falling down the ranks as far as what they're doing against right-handed pitching. They are striking out a lot less than most teams against right-handed pitching. I have some interest here in Charlie Morton just because of the slate we're looking at. I don't love the price tag at 9,200. I think his ceiling is somewhat limited in this game, but with the options that we have today, I think he's worth taking some shots on.
Yeah, I'm with you. You just look at in plate IQ the Mets stats this year, and outside of Pete Alonso, it's just a absolute sea of red. And so I'm with you. I think Charlie Morton is interesting today. Not one of my favorite guys on the board, but it's like we keep talking about. There aren't that many great options. So I definitely think he's in play.
Bats. Any interest in the Mets bats here?
I feel pretty similarly about both of these teams. I think they'd both be in my pool if I was MMEing, but I can't imagine getting to any of them in like a single entry or even a 5 entry type build.
I mean, Pete Alonso is a one-off. I don't ever hate that. I think that he's always someone you could take shots on. And then Max Scherzer, if you want a home run hunt with like an Olsen or a Riley, Murphy, Acuna, like I'm home run hunting on the Atlanta side against Scherzer.
Yeah, I agree. It's like Olsen, I think, makes for a very great play today. But I don't love the full stack and anything outside of MME, but a home run hunt with Olsen, I don't mind at all.
All right, Baltimore at Milwaukee, 8 total in this game. The Brewers a 146 favorite. Burns against Kramer in this one. Any interest here in Dean Kramer?
No.
Yeah, I mean, in tournaments, I think he's another guy that you could potentially take some shots on. There are plenty of strikeouts in this lineup. His problem is fly balls and hard contact, and I mean that's a problem you kind of want to avoid. He is someone that can go up and put like 20 plus points in his start. He's pitched a lot better here recently after a really slow start to the season. So again, I think like if you're leaving some pitchers in your player pool, he's another guy that I think you can just kind of leave in your player pool on this slate. Not a huge endorsement, but just playable.
Yeah, like he's been pretty decent, and I guess on a slate that we don't have a lot of pitching options, we should kind of be fine with settling for somebody who's been putting up the types of scores that he has. But his pricing is just a little bit in no man's land for me. He looks like he's due for a little bit of negative regression. He's getting hit real hard, especially by left-handed bats. So I think it'll be interesting to see the lineup that Milwaukee puts out. They've been putting out some wonky ones lately. I'll be interested to see that, but his price range is just kind of a no man's land for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like I said, not a ringing endorsement. It's more of he's been decent. He's been decent. But Burns, on the other side of this game, a guy that has been a little bit better here recently. Over 7 strikeouts now in 4 of his last 5 starts. Good to see the strikeout numbers starting to come up. He's 10-2. He's expensive. Baltimore, not a terrible matchup. I mean, he's the guy I think today that I don't mind spending up for because of the strikeout upside and because we just don't have a ton of options.
Yeah, I'm with you. It'll be like if we still have Mullins out for this one, that would bump my interest in Burns a lot higher. It'll be interesting to see the lineup Baltimore puts out. The one they threw out there Tuesday was pretty watered down. He's started the season pretty terribly, but outside of one game has really looked a lot better as of late. So Burns is kind of de facto going to be one of the top options on the board.
I don't think Mullins is going to be back anytime soon, for what it's worth. He had like a grade 2 strain, so it's only been like 6 or 7 days. So I don't even think he's eligible to come back yet.
There you go. I didn't realize he was on the IL.
Yeah. Bats in this one, Baltimore bats. What do you like?
Not really anything. Going up against Corbin Burns, I don't think I'm trying to play Baltimore on a slate of this size.
Yeah, I mean, Rutschman, if you want to pay up a catcher, I would prefer Will Smith for what it's worth. If I was going to pay up for catcher, he would be the guy I would prefer. Milwaukee bats against Kramer. I think Tellis is fine. Contreras potentially okay. It would be like a mini type of stack for me against Kramer. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, maybe a mini one, but Kramer's been respectable enough that I definitely don't need to full stack them. But Rowdy Tellez, I'm very interested in. Christian Yelich, I think, is an interesting play, but Tellez at 4,400 at first base is, I think, a nice place to go home run hunting. And then the rest will really depend for me on the type of lineup we get from Milwaukee.
St. Louis at Texas. 8.5 total in this game. Rangers a 135 favorite. We got Flaherty against Gray. Jack Flaherty, he's been pitching a little bit better recently. A little bit. Any interest in him going up against Texas?
Maybe a little. Texas is a team that has a lot of power, but they also strike out a lot. He's kind of in a similar spot as Kramer in just terms of I don't know if I'm going to get to that price range a lot. I think I'm probably either going to be double paying down or going in one expensive guy and one pay down. Somebody I would include in the pool if I was running 150, but somebody that I wouldn't consider if I was playing somewhere like 1 to 5 lineups.
Yeah, not a ton of interest in Flaherty. His walks, I mean, that's always the concern. Texas is a great team. If he starts walking 2, 3, 4 guys, they're really going to punish him. So the other side here, John Gray, 8,900. Tough matchup going up against the Cardinals, but I kind of like John Gray today. He's been really good against righties. A lot of the power in this lineup is right-handed. You still kind of have to be like a Gorman, but if we look at the lineup, like Donovan's not a huge power guy. Like I said, Gorman's the guy you're beating. Burleson's in there. They've been hitting a lot more of these righties. Edmund doesn't have a ton of power, so I kind of like John Gray today and hope he just kind of goes overlooked because he's in a tough matchup. But honestly, he's been one of the best pitchers in baseball here over the last month.
Yeah, I'm with you. Outside of the top of that line, if there's not too much to worry about in St. Louis, it starts really strong and then it fades off a little bit. Gray's just been pitching so well that you simply can't ignore him. So I'm with you on that one.
I know our St. Louis fans in YouTube chat not going to love that one, but I think they understand their team is struggling a little bit right now. Cardinals bats. Any interest here in St. Louis?
Not really. John Gray has just been so good that I don't really think I need to go there on a slate this big.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Gorman one-off would be something I'd be looking at. They just haven't been hitting. Like Gorman, Donovan, maybe. Yeah, I don't love the Cardinals today. They're not my favorite.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't want to go there.
I think the Texas stack is playable. I'm going to say this a lot this year. They're my team this year. Like for anybody that is new, I always seem to kind of latch onto a team that I play a lot in DFS, and Texas is just kind of that team this year. Them in Arizona, I've been playing them both of these teams a lot this year. They're the second best WRC plus in baseball against right-handed pitching. They're having a phenomenal year. Flaherty is a guy, like I said, he can struggle with command from time to time. Stack spot for me. I don't know if I'm going to like target one-offs. I think I would just try to get the stack on Flaherty, like struggling with a command start here.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's kind of how I'm looking at this as well, is all or nothing stack. I'd typically want to one-off a guy like Corey Seager in this situation. However, with somebody like Dela Cruz already there at that position, I don't know how much I'm going to need to do that. But Texas, I think, is one of the most interesting tournament stacks on the board. They're probably not going to project super well from an optimal standpoint. But if we get good Flaherty, they probably are going to fail. If we get bad Flaherty, they might be the highest scoring team on the slate.
All right, rolling along here. We got 2 games left on today's podcast. Giants and Rockies. We're in cores again, 11 total. Hey, listen, the Giants are finally getting rolling here. I have a team moving up the leaderboard. That's fun. Gilbert needs to get going. Need Logan Gilbert to have a bigger game here. But 11 total. Giants a 200 favorite. Webb against Seabold today. Logan Webb 9,900 in course. Don't love the ballpark by any means, but I think he's playable today. I mean, this is not an offense that scares you, and the ballpark is scary. But I think the ballpark being scary is going to keep Logan Webb's ownership down today. And honestly, talent-wise, he's top 3 talent pitcher on the slate.
Yeah, I definitely think he is playable. The fact that it's in Coors definitely bumps him down on my list, but there's not too many guys that we do like today, and so he's right there in the pool with guys like Scherzer, who's in a tough matchup, Bassett in a moderately tough matchup, and so he's definitely going to be kind of top 5 in terms of raw points on my list today.
We're not playing Seabold on the other side of this game, right?
Nope, definitely not.
He did tilt me big time last time out. Stacked against him. I think it was Arizona last time out, and that was tilting. But he's not been good this year. Almost a 6x FIP, 16.5% Ks, allowing 43% hard contact. Great spot for the Giants. Wade, Peterson, JD Davis, Yaz, Conforto, Haniger, Estrada, all of them. Give me all of them. Love the Giants today. One of my favorite stacks again today.
Yep. Giants against the crappy pitcher in Coors. Sign him back up. He'll be the top projected stack on the board. They might still rank behind the Dodgers for me, but I mean, from a projection standpoint, they'll definitely be one. And I like them quite a bit as well. They just probably come behind the Dodgers for me.
Rockies bats. Any interest here in the Rockies?
Because it's Coors, I don't think they're going to pick up much ownership against Logan Webb. So if I'm playing a lot of lineups, definitely they'd be in the pool, but they wouldn't be among my like top 5 stacks in this one.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing here is just they're going to be really low owned. So if you wanted to take some shots, I don't hate it. All right, we finish out Cubs and Angels. This game is currently at a 9.5 total. The Angels a slight favorite here at 135. We got Tyon against Berea. Let's start here with Tyon. Any interest in him going up against the Angels?
No, he has been very bad outside of his last game, and even in that one, still was just like giving up fly balls, not striking out very many guys. So, no. There's just I like the other cheaper options better.
Yeah, very good against righties. Going to face quite a bit of righties here. Really struggles with lefties. So Ohtani going to be towards the top of the list here today. But yeah, Jameson Tyon's pitch count is the biggest concern for me. Just not pitching deep into games still. Jaime Barria on the other side of this game. Honestly, this guy he's been pitching really solid this year. If we look at his advanced stats, they're actually really solid. I think he's playable today at 7K. Again, like we're diving deep today by every aspect. So I think that Barria is a guy that has done a great job limiting power and fly balls, and just might be enough today.
Yeah, maybe. I am worried about how many pitches he's going to throw. We got up to 90 last game, but this isn't a guy outside of that has really ever racked up much of a pitch count. I know he was coming out of the bullpen before, but even in a couple of games where he started, he still didn't get up there very much. So that is something I worry about. I think he makes the MME pool, but not very high on my list.
All right. Yeah, it's one of those days where pitching is. I mean, I like pitching on Tuesday's slate, and Mitch Keller is the lowest scoring pitcher on the slate. So anything is possible. Cubs bats. What do you like here for the Cubbies?
Not much. This kind of feels like one of those games, at least from the Chicago side, that I don't really want to play Berea that much, and I don't really want to play Chicago against him. But I don't like none of this team really appeals to me that much.
Yeah, I mean, Wisdom, he has power and he hits the ball up in the air a lot. I think that he's someone you could take some shots on if you want to. Other side of this game, I mean, I like Ohtani a lot in this spot. Obviously, he's expensive. I think that you could take shots on Moniak if he's up in a better lineup spot. He's been hitting the ball well, and they keep hitting him down in the order. Hopefully, he hits leadoff in this spot because he'd be nice value at 3,400.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Ohtani is going to end up being, I think, one of my favorite individual bats on this slate. Tyon has just been absolutely horrific to lefties so far this year. Shohei Ohtani's got a 289 ISO, and so Ohtani is going to be one of my favorites individual bats, like striking out 18% of guys, 284 ISO. That's a 47% fly ball rate, 43% hard hit rate. That's the kind of thing we're dealing with from Tyon to lefties this year. So Ohtani, I think, is one of the best individual bats on the slate.
Any other final thoughts on the Angels here before we move on?
Nope, that's about it.
All right, let's play the morning grind game, and then we will get out of here. Under 8K to get 6 or more strikeouts. Who do you got today?
Under 8K, 6 or more strikeouts. Vasquez, baby.
I am going to go Jaime Barria. It's how my mind works sometimes. But yeah, give me Barria at 7K. We just started talking about him. I like the spot for him. Over 8K to score under 15. Who's your bust today?
I'm going to go with Flaherty.
Yeah, I like that one. I'm going to go BB against my Red Sox. Low strikeouts, not a ton of upside. Over 4K to hit a home run. Who's going yard today?
Let's go with... Is it cheating to say Mookie Betts? Because he's my favorite.
I mean, it's not cheating. Do whatever you want.
I'm going to go Mookie Betts.
All right. He's under 4K. Hold on. I got to find somebody over 4K. I had the wrong price tag.
You're going to say Christian Walker.
I was.
Yeah, I thought it was under 4. If it was under 4K, that's what I was going to say.
All right, I'm going to cheat the game a little bit. Christian Walker for a home run at 3,900. Under 4K to get 2 hits. Who's your cheap bet that you like today?
Guess I can't say Christian Walker.
You're welcome.
I'm going to go with Ellie De La Cruz.
Yeah, I mean, there was a layup there for you still. So give me Chris Taylor in that same game. Stack to score 6 or more runs.
Dodgers. The Dodgers.
I like it. Obviously, one of the top end stacks today. I like the spot for them a lot. I am going to say the Reds. I think that's going to be a high scoring game. I think you can game stack that game. 4-4, 5-3, however you want to do it. I think that's a very stackable game in general. So, all right, TJ, any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Nope, that's about it. I'm going to be honest with you. I am ready for bed. Interesting pitching slate. Don't be afraid to get different with your pitchers today. I'm going to be prioritizing the cheap 4K pitcher up against the White Sox and get a lot of expensive bats today. I'm looking at Coors Field. I'm looking at the Dodgers, as well as some of these other top individual bats on the board, like a Shohei Ohtani or even a Yordan Alvarez in tournaments. And so that's kind of the way I'm looking to go about things today. And good luck, everybody. I haven't checked the schedule yet, but I'm assuming I'm going to be on either Grinders Live or Crunch Time. So I'll be seeing you later in the day.
There you go. We're going to get out of here. Hope everyone has a fantastic Wednesday. Like TJ said, I mean, if you like something at pitcher today and no one else is on it, just roll with it, I guess, because pitching, this is one of the worst pitching slates we've had in a while. So don't be afraid to take the pitcher that you like. If you like something at pitcher today, roll with it. Have a fantastic Wednesday. We'll be back tomorrow talking more baseball. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you tomorrow.